All right. Good afternoon, Facebook friends and family, and those that are following this particular episode of our virtual town hall. And we'll be starting here with about an hour session. And right now, our goal is to address some of the recent changes that were presented by the Secretary of Defense to the force, and with the stop movement in place until 30 June. Some of the things that I really want to make sure that we cover are that, again, this is guidance that has been put out. It gives us a little bit more direction, but it also does not bind us in some ways. So what we've assembled here is our team of experts to help give you information that is more pertinent to those that are in the UK. And so I would also remind you that this isn't just for Team Mildenhall. We also, under certain portions of this, have a direct responsibility to members that work with the 48th Fighter Wing as well. And to give you some proper context, if we're just talking about household movements, in and out processing individuals, it looks like right now we're going to be in the upward neighborhood of between 1,500 movements between the two bases. That's both in and out. And so in normal constructs, without pre-pandemic issues or concerns affected by policies in the United Kingdom like lockdown, that probably would not be too difficult to navigate. But with all of the layers of policies that we have in place, with the guidance that we continue to receive, as well as host nation guidance, those things all play a part in this process that we're going to be entering into within the next few months. So what I want to do is introduce our panel of experts, and I'll let them speak briefly and tell you why they're here and what they want to address. So first in the queue, I'm going to ask Captain Geary from the FSS, and he's going to talk about in and out processing. So take it away, Captain Geary.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Captain Geary with the MPF. My team and I are here to talk a little bit about the stop movement, specifically in and out processing the base while this is in effect. So as you all know, the stop movement has been extended to 30 June. And with that, they have outlined some more exemptions to this process. So I'm going to go through a couple of those and then talk about the in and out processing quickly. So first of all, with the exemptions, any airmen that have finaled out with the MPF and were told to remain in place can now continue without an ETP. Those that were told to remain in place that have not finaled out with the MPF, however, they no longer occupy permanent quarters, or all of their household goods were picked up prior to the stop movement directive, can also now proceed without an ETP. Dependents that were delayed from concurrent travel with the sponsor are able to continue, and also the members that were en route to their final destination can now continue as well without an ETP. If you do not fall into any of those processes or any of those conditions, an ETP will be required under the same general conditions, like routed through your chain of command up to the first GO, and either for mission essential, hardship, or humanitarian requirements, and then you can continue. Lastly, those who were on TWIRE leave while this directive is in effect, they are authorized to return to the permanent duty station without an ETP. So with all those exemptions, there's definitely going to be a little bit more moves. And with that being said, some units might see new arrivals coming because their members already initiated travel prior to this going in. And if you do get a new arrival, we are currently asking CSSs to gain the member go into their quarantine, and then when they come out, they can reach out to the MPF to continue to in-process the base. As far as out processing goes, if your DEROS and RNLTD was affected by the stop movement, AFPC will go in again and can push out your RNLTD and DEROS with no action required by the member or the MPF as of right now. Furthermore, those that had to get retainability to accept an assignment will not have to get retainability again based on the stop movement. That is the guidance we have at this time. However, that is subject to change. And if there are changes, we'll be sure to push it out as quickly as possible to everyone. Those individuals that have an assignment but have not received their orders, at this time, we ask you to continue to out process while this is in effect, because when the stop movement is eventually lifted, there's going to be a huge influx of people, as Colonel Pananon has already said, huge influx of people trying to depart. And we are trying to prevent as many unnecessary delays as possible, and that is definitely potential to slow down getting out processed. Lastly, if you fall under one of the exemptions that I outlined and you have your orders and they need amendments, currently we are doing a memo in lieu of amendments. So basically that is something we've already contacted all CSSs about how to complete the form. So please get with the CSS. The CSS will work with the MPF and we'll coordinating on getting that form complete. And then you will be able to proceed with that. So that'll be basically your amendments. I hope I've covered some of your questions that you may have. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you for the time, and I can now turn it over back to you, sir.
That was a excellent intro. I'm sure that'll drive some questions and maybe help clarify some things. Next up in the queue is probably somebody that's going to maybe potentially get a lot of questions. I think I've already seen some in the mainstream that we're receiving right now. But Senior Master Sergeant Chief Select Ritz, how about you, sir?
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Senior Master Sergeant Ritz from the 100 LRS Squadron. I'm also the Traffic Management Officer for the Tri-Base area. First and foremost, let me talk about safety for both family members and our movers. We are taking every precaution needed to make sure that everybody is safe during household goods movement that we're currently taking care of. As you may know, we're under a DoD stop movement, which is hindering who we can help at current time. In the UK, we're also over some restrictions dealing with our host nation where our movers are not at full capacity. Currently, we're at 40% capacity handling moves. During this 40% capacity, we're limited to what we're capable of handling. Under the DoD stop movement and the personal property advisory, we're able to handle retirements and separations, ETPs that are covered by either essential, mission essential moves, humanitarian or hardships, as well as humanitarian or hardship. These ETPs must be signed by a general officer authorized to waive the PCS process. Also, just added this week into the exemptions are the AETC moves for those particular training courses that are listed with the MyPERS attachment. Also, any GFM, Global Force Management, deployment related PCSs, we're able to move forward with those. As well as household goods, my team, Passenger Travel, is standing by to help with any travel authorized during this stop movement that falls under the same criteria as the DoD stop movement. One further that I want to add, touch bases on, is pets. I know pets are a extremely hot topic when PCSing, and my team will do our best to help. Our SATO, our CTO, will try to arrange your personal pets movement. When they've exceeded those capabilities, it is on the member to find a suitable carrier or a suitable substitute to help move your pet forward. We can point you in the right direction. We have several companies out there that the government does not recommend, or we're not basically sponsoring, but we can give you some names of companies that are out there to help. Look forward to more questions as this carries on. Back to you, sir.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And I know there's a lot of people out there that have furry families. And so they're really definitely curious about how that is going to happen. And so speaking of furry families, let's talk about furry money. And Sergeant Harley, how about you? Yep, unmute.
There we go. How's everybody doing this evening? I'm Master Sergeant Harley. I'm the Financial Operations Flight Chief. And that section deals with the customer service aspect of the PCS in and out. So we know PCSing can be a very stressful time. We want to make that easy for you. So everybody's situations are different. To address your specific situations, you always just give us a call at 238-8851 or email our org box at 100cpts.fmfs@us.af.mil. One thing I do want to key in on is your government travel card. We know PCSing, especially overseas, can be very expensive. Just make sure your GTC limit is sufficient enough to cover your expenses. Also, you want to verify that your government travel card is put into mission critical status. That way, when it's time, the bill won't be due after 30 days. It'll give you some time and allow you to get your voucher filed and get paid out. Another hot topic right now is temporary lodging allowance. For the folks who are PCSing out, luckily that's been extended. A blanket order has been processed. So once you get with the housing office, you can file your TLA increments within 10-day increments, and we'll get that paid for you. Then I look forward to answering all your entitlement questions. I have my team standing by in the comments to help me out as well. So thank you.
Okay, Sergeant Harley, and I can attest he does have a Harley, but he was freezing up there, but I know that audio went out well, so thank you again. Hey, how about Sergeant Quinn from the medical perspective? Can you talk to us about medical clearances?
Yes, sir. I'm Technical Sergeant Quinn from the Base and Operational Medicine Clinic, the NCOIC of Medical Standards. I'm here to answer any questions regarding medical clearances for both active duty and dependents, and any questions about the changes in the virtual appointments that we're currently doing with those processes. Right now, all members have to still initiate, for active duty members, will initiate their medical clearance through their IMR, through the medical clearance tab, and then they'll also provide them our org box, which they can email with their additional documentation and any kind of communications we can have virtually as opposed to being face-to-face. And then with the EFMP process for dependents, that's still being coordinated virtually as best as we can, but that is all done through the EFMP office and is still proceeding as normal.
Okay, Sergeant Quinn, thank you for that roundup. How about from the first sergeant perspective, Senior Rector?
Good afternoon, Team Mildenhall. Senior Master Sergeant Jeremy Rector here, First Sergeant for the 100th LRS. So moving can be a stressful time at any time in your career, but obviously right now with COVID-19 going on, it can be a little bit more stressful. So with that, First Sergeants are standing by. We're available to help and put you in contact with those agencies that can help you. For those of you who don't know or maybe not familiar with First Sergeants and what we do, we could do a wide range of things and help you out with a lot of different stuff. What I like to say is we're the person to go to if you don't know who to go to. So whether you're active duty or a spouse, contact your First Sergeant if you're just trying to figure out who you need to contact. And I'll be standing by for any questions, so just post them in the comments below. Back to you, sir.
Okay, thanks, Shirt. And, of course, we've got some bandwidth issues here. I'll let you know, Jeremy, that the image that was frozen on the screen while you were talking was not very flattering. But, okay, how about from the Airmen and Family Readiness Center, Miss Beverly Pinheiro.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Bev, AFRC, one-stop shop we're here from 8 to 5, fielding any kinds of questions or concerns, addressing any needs. We're really trying to tailor our services to individual needs and offer all kinds of creative virtual solutions. We've got convenient Air Force aid loan options. We're still facilitating separations and retirements. I mean, we're basically just available for anyone's needs. We're just looking at creative solutions to get those things addressed and accomplished. We're also working very closely with support organizations like Wing Safety and Passenger Registration, who are facilitating one-on-one drivers course and testing sessions and walking folks through what's required to register their vehicles. So, I mean, these services are available. We're just handling them as needed based on circumstances, anticipating that when we do have an influx of newcomers, we'll bring back online our newcomers orientation, probably a modified version of that to begin with. And, you know, we'll just continue to assess the needs as they are presented to us.
Okay, thank you, Beverly. I do appreciate that and everything that they do with a lot of the opportunity that we've tried to put in place to protect our enterprise here. Airman Failure Readiness Center still remains open for business, as do all of our services with just some limited operations and or virtual operations. So let's talk about virtual operations by way of school. So over to our school liaison officer, Ms. Erin Che.
All right, thank you so much. My name is Erin Che. I'm the school liaison. I cover both Lakenheath and Milton Hall. Wanted to just let you know that we are still here and available to help and assist in any way we can. We do advocate and advise our families and local schools and our commanders on all issues that relate to our children's education services, anywhere from about 2 years old to 18 years old. During this time, while everyone is on kind of a digital learning platform, we're focused on making sure that that our families are provided with all the necessary tools and resources for a really successful digital education experience. And we want to make sure that that is something that you are feeling positive about. And if not, please let the schools know and let me know so we can help you to get the best out of that experience. I know the top hot ticket question for me would be, when's the school opening? When the doors open again? And the difficult answer to that, and an answer you probably don't want to hear, is that we're unsure. We're still unsure as if DODEA is going to be able to open doors for the rest of the school year. But as time goes on, every day ticks away, and it seems more and more likely that we will not be opening doors for this school year, but we're looking at how the installations can support opening doors for the next school year. It doesn't mean that they can't open doors before the end of the school year, but please be prepared for that. Speaking of which, even though doors are closed and everyone is doing digital platform learning, re-registration for next school year is open. It is currently open. You should have all gotten some emails or Facebook posts from each of the schools on base to re-register your students for school next year. And that's really important, even though you might be kind of on that fence. You don't know if you're going to move. If you don't know you're going to extend out. Even with those uncertainties, it's important for you to go ahead and re-register your child if you have any inclination that you are going to extend and stay out, because the schools, DODEA really needs those numbers to be able to have the right amount of teachers and support in place when school opens back up next year. So if you are new and you just PCS'd in the middle of all of this, and you haven't registered your children for Dodea schools, but that's what you are planning to do, go ahead. Everything is online. You can go to Dodea, DODEA.edu /doors. That's DORS. And you can, there's two things that pop up. One is for new registration, and the other one is for re-registration of current students. So make sure that if you're a current student, you go to the re-registration button and go ahead and put all your information in so they know how to staff for next school year. If your children are going to UK schools, obviously you are also doing some sort of virtual learning platform. And registration for next school year for UK schools, deadlines were back in October for secondary schools and January for primary schools. So you should have also been connected to that online platform from your individual schools. If you have not, please reach out to the schools. They can still be reached over the phone and through emails. So please connect with them. If you are new and you just transferred in PCSden, please go to the county website, the county council website. They're the ones who help you find and locate the schools that you're going to need at the place that of your residence. And one last thing, if you are getting ready to PCS out over the summer, our office has put together a transition checklist for you so that you don't forget. I know it'll be chaotic with all the different things that you'll have to manage as you PCS out. There's just a quick little checklist that you can go through that'll tell you, please remember to pick up your kids' forms, your transcripts, making sure that you've done all the things that you need. And we wanted to give you some information about what's called the Interstate Compact, that is especially important if you're going back to the states, that they understand that school districts don't stand in the way of you transferring your kids into the new school properly without any hangups. And so that policy helps you to make sure that you got people behind you and backing you up as you transition from school district to school district. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for this opportunity to come and speak to you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Aaron. I do appreciate that. As a parent, I definitely am curious, and I'm sure there's a lot of others out there that really want to bend your ear on this topic. So thank you. How about from the Red Cross, Miss Lisa Enyart?
Sorry, guys, I was having difficulty unmuting myself. Good afternoon. Lisa here from the Red Cross. Our offices actually cover all personnel stationed under a command that is based out of the UK, whether you're on island or not. So this applies to basically everybody worldwide, not just here. But I just wanted to highlight a couple of things. We've been getting a few questions about Red Cross messages, whether or not we're still processing Red Cross emergency communication messages as normal. The short answer to that is yes, absolutely. Still available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have modified our in-office hours. So the quickest way to get a hold of your local Red Cross office is going to be either through our Facebook page, which is just American Red Cross UK. You can shoot us a message. We monitor that pretty much all day and into the evening, as well as our RAF Laken Heath Red Cross email. And that's just raflakenheath@redcross.org. And you can send us an email via that as well if you just have some basic questions. And just a reminder to start your message. You do not have to start that in person. You as a service member, any family member can start a message either over the phone via the Hero Care app, which if you don't have it downloaded, I would highly suggest you download it. It's free for everyone. Make sure you do that today. And then also via our redcross.org website, you can find the links on there to do that as well. And just, for your awareness with the situation that's going on, especially for illnesses that may be COVID related, we are seeing some delays in getting verifications for that for emergency messages. So that is one thing that we've noticed a little bit. just because of all of the protocol that is around a COVID patient. Us being able to get that information sometimes can be delayed with the medical care staff because of course they're being worked pretty hard right now. But otherwise the process remains the same. The approval process of course remains the same, and that is through your chain of command. Red Cross doesn't approve any type of emergency leave. And then we do generally try to give you the best information, of course, that we have for policies and procedures, but a lot of times we will just refer you directly to your first sergeants because of course they are going to be the subject matter experts for that. So just be aware of that as well. And then of course, we're also here for financial assistance, whether that's emergency leave and travel related, or whether that is for some other emergent reason. We are still working on behalf of the aid societies. That has not changed at all. And in addition, we do have other referrals, depending on what your particular situation is, that we can offer you both overseas and for any situations that are happening back CONUS with family members and maybe, move related things. So if you have any questions, of course, please feel free to shoot them our way. We're here to help. If you want to participate in Red Cross Resiliency, we do have quite a few different areas that we have to offer. Please check out our Facebook page to see a lot of that, because we're here to support you through these hard times. And I thank you for your time.
All right, thanks, Miss Lisa. And we're now going to enter into our questions and answer period. And we've got some of the stream here. I think the first question that I'm going to ask is going to go to Captain Geary. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yep, it's going to go to Chief Select Ritz. If we are moving for retirement, how do we turn in our loaner appliances? Is FMO open?
Sir, answer that question. So I'm going to refer that to the 48th Fighter Wing Housing Office, FMO. Their number is 226-7030.
Excellent. Okay. And I guess I will add to that as well. What we have done in the past and when required is if you're having a hard time getting a hold of any agency, please work through your chain of leadership and push that concern up so that we can make those connections happen. With a lot of those that are being teleworking, there are some issues right now with making those connections that people are trying to, make through the normal phone system. And so if you have any issues or concerns, certainly one of those areas might be FMO. Please let us know, reach out to us directly if you need to, and we'll connect the dots. Okay, so how about for Captain Geary? The next question is, how soon will we know if our orders are affected if we aren't due to leave until later in the year?
Yes, sir. So with that, at this time, the stop movement only affects those people that fall within the date. Those that are after 30 June, they have not been affected by the stop movement. And if the stop movement were to change is when their orders would be affected, and we'd be sure to push that out as quickly as possible. But as of right now, there's also a lot of other factors that would play into someone's orders, or if they had to extend or go, TMO actually being one of them, or there's a lot of different variables. So at this time, those that are under the stop movement only are the only ones affected for PCSing.
Cool. Okay. Okay, let's see here. I think this would probably be towards Chief Ritz again. My husband and I are currently in TLF and have been since March 13th. Let's see, we didn't set up TMO to pick up our household goods before traveling here. When will we be able to set this up so we're on the list once movement begins?
Yes, sir. We've already answered it on the Facebook page. What I recommend is that individual contact our office, 238-2201, and we'll be happy to help them.
Awesome. And I think that's a good point to reiterate that a lot of, there may be some general questions that we get after during this presentation. There are going to be some individual issues and cases that are maybe a little bit more might take a little bit more time to address. And so we will, in many cases, ask that you contact via phone or through email or we will contact you directly and or answer in our Facebook comment section. So let's go with question number 5 and 6 are related to, again, Captain Gary. You guys are popular. All right, so let's see. What if your DEROS is before 30 June? And then also the follow-on question, if a member does fall in the category to continue without an ETP, does the member have to go or can the member wait until the stop movement is over?
So first part was if the DEROS is before 30 June, correct?
Yes.
So first, if their DEROS is before 30 June, those will still be adjusted by AFPC with no action required on the member. Those that are authorized to go based on the new policy and the exemptions, they are able to proceed. However, if it creates an extreme hardship, there is a process that they get a memorandum from their commander endorsing it, and then the MPF will take it and submit it to AFPC. AFPC will make the final authority or final decision of if it is a hardship or not, and then adjust accordingly. Because everyone is in a unique situation, so we are taking it on a case-by-case basis. If they have specific questions, they can obviously reach out directly to me at 4160.
Okay, awesome. That's great. Okay, so again, you know, we haven't asked this person a question yet. Chief Ritz, so I PCS'd in early March and I'm in a house off base. My household goods are awaiting delivery. Any idea on the timeline for when deliveries will pick back up?
So at current time, the deliveries are, it depends on the local agent. So we have 3 local agents in the area, 2 of which are their employees for inbound deliveries are furloughed. So I would recommend that once again, that if the member has any questions related to the delivery of their inbound household goods, that they contact the local agent that is responsible for their delivery. They will be able to answer and give them a time frame of when they could be deliver their household goods out.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, how about we address a medical question? And so Sergeant Quinn, how do I get medical clearances for my dependents?
Yes, sir. So for all dependents that are moving are still going through the EFMP office. Their direct line is 226-8202. Depending on the situation, they'll be tasked a case manager who will address all the paperwork via email to what needs to be signed and sent to the PCM or the schools, depending on the age of the dependent. Then when it's all routed, that information is sent to the gaining facility or the gaining base that they're going to for an approval, and that will come back to us for the acceptance and the routing. For humanitarian and EFMP specific reassignments, the point of contact is going to be a Miss Emily Brown at the same office.
All right, Sergeant Quinn, thank you. How about, let's talk about schools. Aaron, my children are enrolled in British schools off base. Now with the lockdown, we are all stressed and I'm having difficulty maintaining discipline in the home with my children doing school virtually. Where can I get some assistance?
Absolutely. I think first I want to make sure that everyone understands it is an extremely difficult time for those that have multiple kids or are single parents. If you're just not used to having all those kiddos run around in your house and you got to do your work, you're teleworking, and then you've got kids that you have to oversee. It is a stressful time and I totally understand. I want to give 2 options for support. One is that we have our fabulous family advocacy program that are here to support you. They used to have classes face-to-face to help you with, coping with certain stresses and anxieties, but they've all moved virtually, but they are still taking answers and questions. They're available online. If you go to their Facebook Family Advocacy page, they have tons of information and trainings and virtual seminars, webinars that you can attend to kind of give you some tools to put a few more options in your box when you're kind of at wit's end. So Dr. Karen KP is the family advocacy trainer for Milden Hall, and she's fabulous. She'll be able to hook you up with that. The other option that I can provide for you is our MFLACs, or military life, family life counselors. We had 8 embedded into our DODEA schools, our 5 schools. 2 of them unfortunately had to leave early, but we still have 6 here. They're no longer obviously seeing patients or students face-to-face, but they are doing virtual counseling. So they can schedule a time to meet just like this, a Zoom chat. You can bring your kids and yourself, whole family can be on it. They can work through some really practical ways that you can cope with just managing that time, because obviously you're being thrown in there trying to learn how to be a teacher, a classroom manager, a life coach, all at the same time. So it is a difficult time. So I would say definitely reach out to our MFLACs that are available for you for a telephone conversation or a video chat. And the phone numbers to all the 6, and they are child and youth specialists, and so they specialize in dealing with child and family issues. They are in our Facebook page, our RIF Lakenheath Milden Hall School Liaison Facebook page.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Erin. Okay, how about to Lisa? Can Red Cross help with financial assistance for me during this time?
So absolutely. As I mentioned, we are still working on behalf of all of the aid societies. So of course, depending on your branch of service, that may be Air Force Aid, that may be Army, but we are still working on their behalf as we always do, whether that's for emergency travel purposes, or whether that's something else that's just happening currently, whether it's COVID or not related, honestly. And then depending on the situation, we do have the ability to work with you to do specific referrals to other agencies and organizations that may be better suited for whatever that particular need is. And then we would work with you one-on-one. The easiest way to get in touch with us to ask questions and sort of to talk about it, like I said, would either be to reach out via Facebook. If you provide us with your name and your email, we will contact you back if we're not in the office. Our office, whether we're in there or not, is forwarded either to one of our staff members or to our 24-hour assistance center for emergency messages. And they can also provide some information on financial assistance as well via that. So any way you try to contact us, we can definitely get those questions answered for you. How we can help is really going to be specific to that situation. And then we would walk you through what that process is.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. And Sergeant Harley, how do I out process with finance? Do I need to make an appointment?
No, sir. All we need is just a copy of your orders, not to exceed 30 days out. Just shoot that to 100cpts.fmfs@us.af.mil. We'll get you squared away.
Okay, excellent. But you do set up appointments if necessary. Is that right?
Yes, sir. If necessary, if you have any questions, we're more than happy to set up an appointment with you to go over any needs.
Awesome. All right. I believe this is going to Captain Geary. How about if someone was unable to move because of the stop movement, is it possible to just extend their DEROS instead of PCSing?
So for that situation, there's 2 parts. So if they have an assignment and they can't move due to the stop movement, they would go through the same process where they think it's a hardship. They can get their commander to endorse a memorandum, provide it to us, and we will submit it to AFPC. Again, it'll be up to AFPC. If people are looking at extending their DEROS and they don't have an assignment, there is something they can do called an out-of-cycle DEROS extension that is also endorsed by the commander, and then the MPF will take it and send it to AFPC. In both situations, it is up to AFPC to decide if they can extend the member or not.
That's a good point that you just brought up there, Captain Geary. One of the things that we are potentially looking at right now is that in some cases we might ask a member if they were interested in conducting an out-of-cycle extension. Right now, as we sit, our current capacity, as I have been briefed for TMO, is about 40%. It's not 40% of what we can do, it's 40% of what the companies that we have contracted to help with household goods can support. And so when we think about the potential of in the neighborhood of 1,400 to 1,800 moves that need to occur during this summertime, we are looking for ways that we can help ease some of that burden on the system itself. And so, Captain Geary, yeah, I do appreciate that. I know our leadership teams are looking at that potential with some of the individuals in our units. Okay, so let's see. Question number 12. Let's see. I'm going to take a guess that it might go towards Chief Ritz. What's the current guidance on being able to ship a vehicle?
So currently our VPC is open. However, if you're meeting the criteria that the DoD stop movement has put out, the exemptions, if you fall into that category, you can ship your household or you ship your vehicle during this time. They will require an ETP letter or the aforementioned what Captain Geary said about in lieu of orders, or something's on your orders to identify that you fall into that criteria to ship your vehicle. But the VPC is currently open. They are also receiving vehicles. So if you've shipped a vehicle, they're still receiving them in.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Let me see here. For MPF, what is considered a GFM deployment?
So, sir, with that one, I would suggest that the member get in touch with IPR or IDRC, just because probably not the right forum or platform to discuss that. So if they want to know specifics, I would strongly suggest reaching out to the IDRC, specifically IPR.
Great. That was a great answer. You get an A+. So let's see here. I think I'm going to ask you again for all the out processing questions. Is there an updated process checklist to complete, and will FSS ensure all previous actions captured prior to stop movement? And how will PPE codes be waived, i.e. CADM?
So the first part is there is no updated processing checklist. However, the virtual out processing checklist is being tracked, and we're working with the member to see where they are throughout the stop movement. So we will coordinate with every individual to see where they are to make sure they're squared away in that aspect. As far as the PPC codes being waived, we've actually already reached out to AFPC, and they got back to us and said that they're gonna, when the time comes, they're working with MAGCOMs, and it'll be up to MAGCOMs to reassess those PPC codes to see what the way forward is. So for example, if someone had CADM to go to, I believe it's PACAF, it has to be within 120 days. Obviously with the stop movement, they might not be within that window. That will be up to the MAGCOMs to reassess all those PPC codes and then say what they will waive and what they will not.
All right, that's great. Appreciate it. Yeah, each individual case will probably have a unique situation. So please reach out to our experts following this to get your questions answered. And so how about back over to Aaron. Let's see, my child turns 4 by September this year, and I was going to apply to the Sure Start preschool program. With the schools being on lockdown and with school reopening uncertainties, is the application still being accepted?
Yes, that's a surefire yes. They are still preparing for a Sure Start. to open up when the school year opens back up in September. Well, August, but they actually start in September. So applications are being accepted right now until 14th of August. That's the deadline. The applications are at our office. You can go to AFRC and pick up the packets right outside of my door. Or you can go to LES Facebook site or to any of the administrators at Lake and Heath Elementary School. They would have applications as well. There's also I think a downloadable PDF application that you can get and scan, fill it out, and then submit it back to LES. That's we can give you that link if you reach out to us at our org box. That's 48msg.ccl.slo@us.af.mil, and we can get that out to you. If you already have an application ready to be turned in, that can go to Alicia Earl at Lake and Heath Elementary School. That would be Alicia, ALISHIA.EARLE.LN@dodea.edu. If you didn't get all of that, we can send you that information. If you just message us, you can message us on our Facebook page, or you can send us an email and we'll get that information out to you. You do have the children who qualify would be making sure that they turn 4 by September 1st of 2020. It is a priority placement, and so you turn in an application, and we typically get about 80 to 100 applications a year, and currently there's only 36 spots. But I encourage everyone to go ahead and apply for that position, because the priority criterias are extensive, so you never know if you can go and snag one of those spots. But that is the only free preschool program that our Dodea schools offer. So I encourage everyone to go ahead and submit that application. Deadline is 14th of August.
Thank you, Erin. Okay, so just an administrative note here. We have about 13 minutes left, and there were like 0 questions in the Facebook comments portion of this. And so, no, there was a lot. We are going to try our best to answer all the questions in the time that we have allotted. What I'll offer you is that all these experts that are featured here will get your answers and answer you directly on our comments section if we don't get to them today. And of course, since there seems to be a little bit of a demand, we will definitely be considering doing round 2 of this very kind of session. All right, so let me go to, let's see here, question, looks like, oh wow, okay. Oops. Oh, our June, this is Captain Gary, our June PCSer is going to be pushed back.
Sir, at this time, they will be pushed 60 days accordingly once the stop movement is lifted. If there are any significant changes to those, again, we'll be sure to contact all those members. But if you are in June, as of right now, AFPC will be going in and pushing out your DEROS and RNLTD. So even for members that have a DEROS that's in June, but an RNLTD in July, they will probably still be pushing out both of those. So yes.
And I'm seeing a few questions in here that kind of aligns to what you just mentioned. So here's the thing, right? As we move those report no later than dates to the right, we naturally will create a kind of an artificial bottleneck, because those members that were supposed to move in May are now getting slid to the right. And those people that we have not adjusted, that we're sitting in the July and maybe even August timeframe, we cannot push all that out at the same exact time unless the industry itself can support it. And so what I would reiterate is, as guidance changes, and it is going to change on the DoD policy about every 2 weeks, We are expecting changes or review of the UK policy on or about May 7th or 8th to potentially be put into effect on 11 May. All these things will impact all these actions. And again, to steal a term that is out there, we have to flatten the curve on our household good shipment. And flattening the curve on this summer PCS cycle is key to that. So please, let's go to the next question, which is, speaking of household goods, if my household goods and unaccompanied baggage are picked up, will they actually be transported to destination, or will they be held here in the UK in storage until the stop movement is lifted on or about 30 June 2020?
That's a great question, sir. No, all household goods, if they're picked up and shipped, they are continuing through the transportation pipeline. So they will continue to the destination. Currently, there is no slowdown in the business in the United States. So if you are heading to the States, you can expect your shipments to meet the report no later than date set forth by our office. So no delays on leaving the UK.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So MPF, if you cannot take leave en route with an ETP, what does this mean if you're flying back CONUS and driving to your next destination?
So there's also a waiver process for that. If that individual wants to directly reach out to the MPF, we can lay out what that process will look like in order for them to get to their next duty station.
Yeah, and I think if I'm tracking correctly, that state to state guidance can vary as well. And so where you land after you depart here and which airport they send you to has an impact. And then there are other state to state guidelines that need to be that we need to pay attention to as well. And so again, it'll be unique cases for each individual. We'll try to guide you as best as we can, and realize too that things that we say and address in this session could likely change tomorrow. And so please be aware of that. All right, over to medical. I'm being processed for a humanitarian assignment. Where do I start?
Yes, sir. So that will be with the FMP office. The number is 226-8202. The main point of contact is a Miss Emily Brown, and she'll be able to guide you through that process from start to finish. It'll involve a few other things depending on what kind of EFMP they're distributed to, either be an education EFMP condition or a medical chronic condition. It will involve specifically a form, had it written down, 2792-1 for children, and then 2792 for all other dependents out of the age of school.
Okay, excellent. Let's see here. I think we'll go to our Red Cross. How do I get emergency leave travel? Does Red Cross pay for my travel and book my tickets?
So no, we do not book your tickets and pay for your travel when you're granted emergency leave. So if you're granted emergency leave, you will work with your command, with your first sergeant, and they will walk you through what that process looks like, from getting all of your paperwork done to then going through the travel booking process. If there are ever questions when you do get a Red Cross message, of course, we will try our best to point you in the right direction for that. We are able to assist for some additional financial assistance if it's required based on what your travel ends up looking like, because there are certain restrictions regarding emergency leave travel and where you can actually get into the United States, for instance, if you're going back to wherever home is. And so there may be some additional cost. And then if that is the case, we then can step in and provide some additional assistance for that as well.
Yeah, okay. Senior Rector is definitely familiar with the process as a first sergeant, but Sergeant Harley, aren't there some entitlements that are related to emergency leave? Is that correct? Oh, no.
Yes, sir. There are entitlements related to emergency leave. Normally, it's the plane ticket. So once your first sergeant gives you the order, they'll send it to finance to be certified, and then work with TMO to book your tickets, and that gets paid through DTS.
Excellent, excellent. And it's just a unique entitlement because we're overseas. Certainly, if you have a impacted family member that is stateside, that helps get them to a port of entry. And so, again, if you come into one of those situations, as fortunate as it may be, we are here, and there are definitely agencies that are able to help and assist. Okay, we are running close and short on time here. I think we are, okay, oh, number 20, okay, yeah, 26. There's that many questions. All right, if we get extended here, do we risk losing our next assignment? Captain Geary.
So, sir, based on if they get extended here, at this time, we don't have any guidance if they will lose their assignment or not. That is probably based on every individual's career field and MAJCOM manning. So a lot of the functionals are already talking about how they're going to fix this based on the stop movement. So I would say it's probably career field based on everyone's career field, and each one might be different. But at this time, there has been no talk of, hey, if you're extended somewhere or if you're affected by the stop movement, we're canceling your assignment.
Okay, perfect. Another question came in, and I'll probably help address this one. Is there a priority list being built based on several individuals moving at the same time and movers starting to open back up? And so what we've asked the team to develop is a prioritized list that goes through individual by individual, because we already know who we have on the books that will be out processing. And so we've got that list in hand. Our units are reviewing each individual case and determining where they would sit within that priority list. And then we're taking that priority list and integrating it with the 48th Fighter Wing. And so yes, there will be a prioritized list for those that will be moving out. And then within that, we'll also have some process to try and assist those that are already on the island or coming this way as well. And so, yes, that is in process and being worked. Okay. How about finance? We've got, when will my COLA entitlement be turned off so that I'm not overpaid during my move?
Yes, sir. So once you send those orders with your fly out date on them, we'll stop your COLA effective the day you depart Mildenhall. That way, we want to ensure you're not overpaid once you get to your next location, because I know how that can hinder you. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to have one more question. This is a closing question, and I'll have closing comments from myself. And obviously realize that we will be doing this again. Miss Beverly, for those that do come, come to here and are inbound, what kind of, per se, do you have loaner things? Do you have things that they can use to help them while they are in the TLFs?
Mm-hmm. Yes, as things were rapidly developing, we had a handful of folks come in. They were lucky enough to get into their homes, knowing that they'd have a lengthy wait for household goods. So we were able to offer dish packs. We have phones, we have GPS devices, and we can help source other odd requirements like a mini fridge, for example, or yeah, we've got a stockpile of things that we're happy to extend to the community.
It's good. I need a mini fridge for my office. Oh wait, no, I already bought one. Don't take that. Mm-hmm. That was just a joke. Okay. Unfortunately, we didn't understand that this would be a really big topic, and we didn't probably plan out for enough time. We've got 1 minute left, and I need to provide a little bit of closing comments and just promise you this, that we want to continue to maintain our open lines of communication and be absolutely transparent through this entire process. We will make sure that we plan out for another another event, town hall event, in the very near future, maybe as early as next week, but surely not much longer past that. What I would ask of all is that please note that the conditions are changing rapidly. They're always informed by what is going on both within the DoD construct and our host nation. And so I'd ask for, if at all possible, please have patience through this process and trust us. We do not want anybody to be under any type of suffering. So there are definitely extreme circumstances out there. We will address those and help you and assist you to the max extent possible. And please stay tuned. We will definitely update you when any guidance changes or when we get new information. All the panel members here are going to, answer those questions that we couldn't get to. If you have follow-on questions after we close here, please populate the comment section and we will answer those as quickly as possible. I want to take this time to once again thank our panel members for their time and then their subject matter expertise. I certainly didn't have as many words as you did, and I certainly did not have the answers that you did. So thank you, team. For all those out there on Facebook, family, and friends, and those listening in, please be safe. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the nice weather. And we are checking off. Thank you.